Hello, everybody. My name is Kyle Maley. I'm the president of Team Impact, and today I'm going to be talking to you all about how to do your chapter reports. So, the chapter reports are super important. You have to do 3 of them after each of your events that you host as a chapter. But why are these so important? Well, first of all, it helps us keep track of accurate financial statements, which is really important because we're a federally registered nonprofit and we need to make sure we keep good track of our finances. Next, it allows us to give people the service hours that they earn at our events, making sure that we can make those transcripts at the end of the year and give them proper credit for their hours. And then finally, it lets us keep track of the size of our chapters through the contact sheet. So it lets us know how many people are in each chapter, so then we can pull further statistics from that. Now, the president of each chapter decides on how they want to do their reports. For some chapters, the president just does all 3 of the reports, but for some other chapters, the president can delegate specific people in chapter leadership to do a specific report. So just make sure you check with your chapter president on how you will be doing your reports for the chapter. But today I'm going to go through and show you guys how to fill in these reports, just like I was running a chapter. So for the purpose of my demonstration today, I'm going to pretend that I run the Big Walnut chapter, and I'm going to go through and do all these reports. So the first one here is the chapter service tracker. The service tracker is important for keeping track of everyone's service hours, as you can probably guess. So if we scroll to the side here, we see a couple tips. Got to make sure to give extra time to leadership for their planning efforts, rounds to the nearest half hour, and then make sure our number follows this format here. And I'll go through and show you how to do that. So let's say that we just had our first event, and I was there for 1 hour. The event code will just put a random number in. So if I'm there for 1 hour, I want to make sure I'm doing 1:00:00. And then let's say maybe there was Vahin that planned the event and he spent 2 hours. Vahin 0101. And then also we want to make sure that these are full names. So to make this example accurate, fill in Vahin's full name. So you want to make sure for any leadership, you're giving them extra time spent planning. You're going to want to make sure for everybody that attends, every single person that attends, even if they're just like playing a game or something like that, they earn service hours. That's one of the main selling points. I know there was some confusion across different chapters on who earns service hours. So the planning earns service hours, being at the event and running it earns service hours, and being at the event and participating in it also earns service hours. There's a lot of different ways to get your service hours. And then to make sure you did it right, make sure it follows this format here, and then the clock at the top will update, and it will sum up all of these cells here. So if I had like 35 more hours in the sheet, you got to make sure you enter it in the right format so that it updates up there. Because if I just put like 35, it's going to throw everything off. So you have to make sure you do it in the correct format. Okay, so that is the service tracker. And then the second report that we have to do is our finance sheet. So the finance sheet is definitely the most important report because it lets us keep track of accurate financials and how much cash you have on hand at any given time. So we'll go over to the tips here again, which is off to the side. We want to make sure we're separating the cash and the online income lines. So I'll explain that a little bit more later. We want to transfer online income immediately, which again, I'll explain. Hold cash in a safe location until March 2025. And then refer to the group chats for your event codes. So we keep track of every event that's hosted through Team Impact. And then before each event, we send you guys your event code through your chapter group chat. So you want to check there for this event code column to make sure that you have the accurate event code. And then one more note here. Most events will have 4 lines. I'm not going to read that. I'm going to explain this all to you right now. So let's say we just had an event. We'll do a spike ball tournament, for example. So let's say we did a $60 prize. And for this one, do not put dollar signs. You don't need to put dollar signs. You can just put in numbers and it'll automatically format it. So we'll do spike ball prize. Okay. So the spike ball prize we paid out in cash. So it is so important that we click cash off to the drop down here. Then let's say we got $120 of spike ball entry fees in cash. In cash. So it is crucial that we are separating our cash entry fees from our online entry fees. So if we had online entry fees, that would mean people that are paying with like Venmo or Zelle or something like that. And for those types of fees, you can just do it to your personal accounts and then send it to organization leadership after. There's a little more information on how to do that in the handbook, but you can just reach out to your chapter delegate if you have any questions on that. So we separate our cash here, put in the event code for both of these, and then make sure we're clicking cash for cash and online for online. And then finally, if we offered concessions or anything like that, we could just do like, if we made money off concessions instead of entry fees, we could just do income here. And then if we paid $15 for the concessions, oh, sorry, that should be negative. Negative 15 and also negative 60 because we didn't make money there. Anything you spent should be negative. I'm sorry about that. So 15 could be spike ball concessions. Okay. And we paid in cash. Okay. So then up here at the top, you'll see everything is live updating. So we made $75 total off the event, but since 30 of the dollars were online, you would only have $45 in cash. So for online income, you transfer it to the organization leadership immediately. So we'll already have that in the Team Impact bank account. But for cash, we can't do that immediately because it's physical cash. So you need to make sure as a chapter, you're holding it in one specific place until collection day. That'll be around March 15th, I would guess. That's not an exact date, but it'll be sometime in March of 2025 where we'll go around and collect all these cash from the chapters. And by doing the reports in this way, we keep track of exactly how much cash your chapter has on hand at any given time. So you really need to make sure you're doing these reports correct, or otherwise your cash isn't going to line up and you're going to be short money. And that's going to be a massive issue for us. And then one final thing. These spreadsheets are all tied into a big central database that I made, and they cross-check each other. So for each event that you type in, it registers your event code. And let's say, for example, you did the service tracker and you had 30 people come to the event with a $5 entry fee. So the system is going to assume that you made $150 in entry fees, and it's going to check through your reports to make sure that lines up. So on our end here, I will reload this here. On our end, we have this big live updating spreadsheet. So we can go in and see any school's like finances at any given time. We can see how much money is in your like cash on hand. And it cross-checks it with the expected amount of money that your event is going to make. So if the amount of people that you brought in doesn't line up with the amount of money you made, the system's going to flag that and we're going to reach out to you and discuss that issue. But it is so important, guys, that you do these reports correctly. These two reports are so important to the success of Team Impact, and we got to make sure we're doing them right every single time. So do them as close to the event end date as you possibly can, and we'll be sure to correct any issues if they do come up with you guys. Okay, and then the final report that we're going to discuss today, get the cursor here, is the contacts list. So this is an optional report. You do not have to do this, but it is a very easy way to count how many people are in each chapter, which is tied to a trophy award at the conference at the end of the year. So if you're looking to earn the award for having the biggest Team Impact chapter, that's based on how many people are in your contact sheet. So you need a first name, last name, and phone number to put everyone in your contact sheet. And a really easy way to do this is to put these fields on your sign-up form. So whenever you have an event, if you can collect first names, last names, and phone numbers for every person that's coming to the event, you can just copy and paste that into this tracker, and then you don't need to ask them their phone numbers at the in-person event. And again, this is just how we keep track of the sizes of our chapters and who is in each chapter. So you do not have to do this. You don't have to get those phone numbers. But if you would like to win the biggest chapter award, I highly recommend doing this report. All right, guys, that is everything for how to do your chapter reports. It's not too difficult. We just have to make sure we do them accurately every single time. If you have any questions, your chapter delegates are always here to help you and can answer any of those questions that you might have. So just reach out to your respective delegate. Thank you guys for watching.